Hey, good afternoon. I'm Ken Brown, and welcome to Local Sports Wrap Up. I have the pleasure of being here today with Odds Jones. How you doing, Odds?
Doing good, yeah.
How's
Been
it
a
going?
busy week, but a good week, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Well, we had graduation yesterday, so long day, hectic day, but good production. So
Oh, yeah?
no complaints.
What was the highlight of the day at graduation?
Afterward, we all went out to eat.
Yeah.
It was hot, so set up. Neil and I were talking earlier. It's like by 5 o'clock, so before graduation, we were just gassed, and then the rest of our crew got there for the actual production. It's interesting behind the scenes when you're doing a live production. There's just so many moving parts, and it's chaos. You got to embrace the chaos.
Sure.
Yeah.
And what you really don't notice is nobody notices the chaos but you.
And that's the
You're-
point, though.
Yeah, you're the one that knows that something went wrong, and
Yeah.
everybody else is just oblivious to it.
Hopefully, yeah. If you catch it beforehand, they don't even know.
What about did they have like a cap on how many people you could invite?
Yeah, I think it's 4, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Like at my son's baseball game yesterday, one of the kids couldn't come. Colton couldn't come because his sister was graduating.
Okay.
All right, so it made a lot of sense. Now his two grandfathers are the coaches. Hi, Coach Bob, and Coach Jeff. But they didn't go.
Yeah.
And they were like, Colton had to go to his sister's graduation, and they were like out in 95-degree heat coaching baseball. And I'm like, I wonder what's going on. Like, but as I recall, when my daughter graduated from Wyandotte, she was able to get tickets from friends so that we can get more people to attend. I always think graduation is a great time. You know what I mean? Like
The actual ceremony?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think. Throwing. Did they throw beach balls or anything? Did they do anything?
Nothing interesting like that.
Man, this is the last time that you have no chance to really get in trouble. That's how I felt. I mean, they could not give you your diploma, I guess,
Right.
at the end behind the curtain.
Right.
But eventually they're going to give it to you.
Yeah, by law, they're going to
Yeah, they're going to have to give it to you, So, I don't know. I had a great time on our graduation night. I'll never forget. We get in this car. We go to Detroit. I graduated from Ipsy High. It's Tuesday. You graduate on a Tuesday. And we rent a limo. It's about 8 of us. Let's go to Greektown. Greektown had tumbleweeds going through it. There was nothing going on after graduation. And I could just hear my buddies giving the other buddies that wanted to go to Detroit heck. You know what I mean? Like, why are we going down? There's nothing to do. It's Tuesday. Man, it was hilarious. And when we could have rode around our neighborhood and people seen us in the limousine, we chose to go.
Oh, yeah, the limo, yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. What about you? Did you guys do something when you graduated that was just...
So my school had like an all-night party for the seniors, which, those are a way so the kids can all be together but not get in trouble. And so they had like different games set up, and you could win essentially like Monopoly money to buy prizes. I was always kind of a prankster, and if I saw an opportunity to get in a little mischief, I took it. So someone had left, like one of the volunteers had left their money sash laying around. So I was like, I bet if I just put that around my waist and I saunter up to that there money station and tell them that I'm out of money at my game, they're just going to hand it over. So I put that sash on. I walked on up. I'm like, hey, I'm out of money at my station. They're like, oh, here you go. Bricks of Monopoly money. I didn't even know what I was going to do with it. But I just sort of like walked off. And then one of the volunteers asked this other student, like, is he in your grade? And they're like, I think so. So I scampered off, but I eventually got caught. I had to return it all. They put me in this. They put me in this makeshift jail. It was like you could pay so much to put a classmate in jail. Yeah. So then I had to go do a stint in the pokey.
No, man, graduation is great, man. Like little stories like that, like they're classic nights that your first time in adulthood, you kind of feel, and I'm done with school.
Yeah.
You gotta go back to your parents' house after.
Right.
Yeah, no. So congratulations to all the Bears that graduated yesterday. I'm sure it was a big day for a lot of families in Wyandotte, and then those kids are happy that they didn't have to go to school this morning.
Yeah, and it's the one thing for me, working with the JCs, being a member of the JCs and running the haunted house over the years, every year for better part of the last decade, some of those kids graduate, and there's like 7 of them yesterday. So
That's sweet.
it's always nice to see.
No, yeah, you get to connect the dots
Yep.
for it. Yeah, no, that's good. And the interesting thing about sports as it relates to graduation or prom, when my daughter was attending Renaissance High School, to me, they never did a good job of coordinating the day of prom and regional softball. So then these girls would like try to get their nails done and do all these different fancy things.
Right.
And they have a softball game in the afternoon, but the prom later that night. And it just seems like it would be easier to find out when the schedule is, and go by that. And I think that Wyandotte did a good job with that because yesterday there was no sports at all, so no graduation wasn't interrupted. The boys did play baseball on the 31st, so the day before. The boys actually beat Taylor 4-3, and Allen Park. Well, in that game, our guy Gutierrez. He took the win. He got the win. They were down 3-2 last inning. They get two-run hit from a kid, take the lead. Michael Massengill stays on the mound for the last 2 innings and gets the save. So Gutierrez gets the win, and Massengill gets the save, and Wyandotte propels into districts with a 4-3 win over Taylor in baseball. The other downriver teams were actually also in this weekend. They played in the Bob Kloss Invitational, which was in Trenton. Looks like Trenton won from the information that we got because they beat UOD Jesuit 5-2. Trenton also beat Ann Arbor Skyline 6-4, and then they actually tied Lake Orion 4-4. I don't know how you tie in a baseball game. Yeah. You don't put a runner on second and whatever it is. But anyway, the Bob Kloss Invitational is dedicated to Coach Bob Kloss, who coached Woodhaven High School up into 2014. He coached from, I think it was 1970 to 2014, and then he passed away from leukemia in 2017. Okay. But come to find out, he's a two-sport star at a little Catholic school in Hamtramck. And then he went to Wayne State, played baseball 4 years and played basketball 1 year. And then he went to the Woodhaven school system and became an educator and a coach of the baseball team. So the Bob Kloss Invitational was great. Funny thing to me was a guy from work coaches UOD Jesuit. So he's seen our show, and he was like, so give me some intel on some of these downriver teams. And
he's going to have to come on the show.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, you got to watch and see. But he was very impressed when he came back about the field. He said that the field, he said, you didn't tell me I was going to baseball heaven, and because they got the turf on the infield and the grass, and they got a bunch of money that they've dumped into the place. And I was like,
in Trenton?
Yeah, Trenton.
Driving by their facilities, they look nice. Yeah. And that was, that made a difference. I remember playing Little League. And so I played for Lincoln Park Central. And when you'd get to the All-Stars, and the coaches could say all they want, I don't worry about that other team's equipment or uniforms. Doesn't matter. You try and tell that to 11, 12-year-olds, it's a psychological effect. And I remember every year in All-Stars, we never got past Taylor, because Taylor was like the class of the Little League then. Maybe they still are. They always had the pinstripe uniform. They looked sharp, and the coaches knew it, and they didn't need to say it. We didn't need to say it. We're in the dugout. We used to have just our gray pants, and then we wore like a dark blue, jersey. And they were okay, but they weren't on the same level, and the coaches knew it, and they used to go, don't worry about their jerseys, guys. Well, we kind of are.
Yeah, why'd they get them? Those probably cost $80. No, I get it. So when you played in Lincoln Park had a phenomenal baseball program as far as the numbers. Like there was a field behind Sears.
Yeah.
That's not Central?
That was north, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's a park on River Drive.
Yep, that's where I predominantly played. Yeah.
Okay.
So T-ball, I was in the St. Henry's Men's Club.
Okay.
I think did 2 or 3 years of T-ball, and then Little League, the minors, played minors and then majors all over at that park you just mentioned, Kiwanis, I believe it was.
Yeah.
So there's Lincoln Park Central there and Lincoln Park South. I think there was 4 teams at the time. This is in the early and mid-'90s. 4 teams in each division, yeah.
No, you guys were pretty big. And the funny thing, I'm coming west of you from Ypsilanti. Once we got out of districts, we would get to sectionals and we would play Taylor. Yeah. You know, so we would always go against Taylor Northwest or Taylor, whoever it would be. And probably, we beat them twice during my 3 years. But you're right, they were really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were the creme de la creme, so that was fun. Another interesting thing about baseball, all year we've been kind of talking about Ecorse High School. And while we talk about Wyandottes going into the districts with a little momentum, they were 14-17 on the season. We know they started off slow in Kentucky and they built on that, so now they got a chance to go to districts. But the other team downriver that we talked about was Ecorse. And Ecorse ended the season at 24-3, regular season, 24-3. Last 2 games, Ecorse beat Melvindale 9-5, and then they beat Carlson 5-4. Now they go into the district Saturday. June 3rd, Saturday, is going to be a huge day for a lot of reasons. You'll hear it as we continue. But they'll play June 3rd. They'll play against Crystal Ray, which is used to be Holy Redeemer in the Catholic League, and now it's a smaller Catholic school, and it's still in the same location, but they'll play Crystal Ray on Saturday. And on Saturday, Wyandotte will go into District 17, and they'll get an opportunity to play as well this weekend. I'm looking for the teams. Okay, Wyandotte plays Southgate at June 3rd at 2 o'clock, and then Carlson will play Woodhaven at 4:30. So after you go to the fishing derby, after you go to row for fun, you can go out and watch Wyandotte's boys play baseball at 2 o'clock. And it looks like it's in Southgate. And then Gibraltar Carlson to play Woodhaven. So you'll get some good bang for your buck there. Other games, District 18 for downriver teams, Allen Park will play Dearborn at noon. Edsel Ford to play Lincoln Park. And then Trenton's in District 52, and it's like Romulus is one of the teams that's in that division or in that district. So as baseball's coming to an end, everybody's still alive. Everybody's 0-0. That's the best thing about the playoffs,
Yeah, wipe the slate clean.
Yeah, you get a fresh
season.
start. Yeah. What about Panthers? I know it's not local sports. Real quick.
Stanley Cup Finals, starting Saturday. You got the somewhat of a surprise 8th-seeded Panthers, but they were the President's Trophy winners last year. They obviously made a big move in the offseason, brought in Matthew Tkachuk, and they started clicking at the right time, and they've slain some giants along the way. So you got the Panthers against the Vegas Golden Knights. Should be an exciting finals. I give the edge to the Panthers. I know the bookmakers aren't, but simply because they have the better goaltender, more experienced goaltender. I'm a little shocked. Vegas is a solid team, but I'm a little shocked they're doing this on the back of what has been Maidenhill's younger goaltender, but thus far in his career, kind of like a third-string guy. So we'll see what happens. But you want to pick? I'd take the Panthers, and I like Matthew Tkachuk or Sergei Bobrovsky for the Conn Smythe for MVP.
Yeah. No, man, I love your intel, and you've taught me so much about hockey during this season that I'm excited that I did some small research on that games, the finals, and it appears that Las Vegas, expansion's strong word, right? But they're 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, they first came in the league in 17-18, made the finals that first year, lost to the Capitals. Yeah,
and I want to say that. If they're in the western half, they've made 4 conference finals in 6 years.
Well, and that expansion draft in 2017 was sort of infamous for being tilted in the expansion team's favor. Because, you know, the expansions they had in the 90s and then even in the early 2000s, those teams were bad for a long time, and that doesn't benefit the league trying to grow a fan base. They wanted Vegas and then subsequently Seattle to be competitive out of the gate, and, well, they were.
Yeah.
And they have been.
No, that's good. That's good. Softball. I think that if you get an opportunity on June 3rd and you don't take our advice and do all these wonderful things, the one thing, if you could put it on your list, is I would go see Allen Park Jaguars girls softball team play. They have Miss Sizemore on that team, who's going to be the top softball player in the state again.
Is she a senior?
She's a senior this year.
Okay.
So this is the year to go see her. Don't sleep on it. The bad news for Wyandotte, she's in their district. The good news for Wyandotte is they don't play her in the first game. So they can get some momentum. And the last time we were on the show, we talked about them playing, and Allen Park beat them 12-0. You know what I mean?
And what's the rules that govern pitching in softball?
None.
There's none. They could run her out day after day.
Every inning. 100 and something pitches. Like, yeah.
That's got to be tough as a coach, though. Like, you're dealing with young people whose bodies are still developing. I think at a certain point, like, there's got to be some ethical question of you're running them out there again and again and again. Because you know a kid at that age isn't going to say, nah, coach, I can't go today. They're going to go.
I think that what's on their side is science, right? On the girls' side, it's not like a boy or baseball where you're overhand throw and you can only do so much of that, right? Like even in the Little League that our kids are playing, they got 2 innings. That kid's got 2 innings, so if you got their best player, he's only got 2 innings to do it. Other leagues, Williamsport affiliated leagues, there's 85 pitches.
Right.
It's a pitch count.
Yep.
And after you exceed these numbers, you can't pitch for 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
It's not that way in softball. If you look at any of those teams that are in that girls softball World Series that's going on in Omaha, I believe, those pitchers are 42-7, 48-6. And those teams might have played 60 games, but their pitchers are aces and horses, and they're pitching every game. And once they get a good one, they're running her out there all the time. So I'd be surprised. I know if I was coaching Miss Sizemore, that there's no way she wouldn't be running out there unless she was sick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because now it's money time. It's time to win. So
Is she declared where she's going?
they haven't announced that yet.
Okay.
Might have to reach out to Frank. Or Frank, email us, Local Sports Wrap Up.
You have to imagine a student that dominant, she's got a scholarship to play softball somewhere.
And what I like about her, it doesn't seem, she's not, from appearances, from afar.
Sure.
She played basketball.
Yeah.
So it's not like she's a one-trick pony or a person that's like, I don't want to get hurt playing my off sport.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So much luck to her. I'll do some research to see exactly where she's going. But she does play this weekend, and if I were you, I would go check her out. Allen Park actually plays against Taylor in District 16. You can look it up on Michigan High School Sports Association, but Wyandotte plays Southgate. And I believe that those games are at Southgate, but I don't want you to hold me to that. I'd rather you look it up and get an opportunity to go out and see her. The other good game that they're going to have this weekend in girls softball on June 3rd is Riverview Gabriel Richard versus Riverview High School. So that'll be a good game. And my buddy Bo, who's coaching at UAD Jesuit, he said that Riverview was good. They gave UAD Jesuit the business this weekend too. You know, so there's a lot of downriver teams that have some fighting chances to bring home district titles this weekend. So I look forward to seeing how that turns out for them. Tell me a little bit about Justin.
Next Tuesday, June 6th, 5:30 p.m., the pickleball courts are going to be dedicated to former late rec superintendent Justin Lanigan. So that's at what is that? Is that FOP Park? FOP. So you can enter from 6th Street or Lindbergh Park on Bondi. Again, that's next Tuesday, June 6th, 5:30 p.m. at FOP Park.
No, that'll be good. So they're dedicating that park. The pickleball court's gonna be named Justin
Justin Lanigan
Court.
Pickleball court, I suppose.
Yeah. No.
'Cause it was he, and you've met Tom Snyder. They did a lot of work to get those courts put in, and then get the equipment over at the rec department to start, introducing this community to pickleball. And as our mayor tells us, it's a growing sport over there. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard the mayor gets quite a bit of cardio doing that.
That's what Carolyn said, and anytime you run into the mayor, he'll tell you. Yeah,
Okay.
He plays every day.
That's
Yeah.
good,
Yeah.
man. No, I still want to get into it. It looks more difficult than me and Marty were giving it credit. I rode by and it was crowded on that court, and I was like,
Yeah.
what are they doing? Yeah, they're playing pretty fierce. You know what I mean?
You gotta learn the ins and outs, but I wouldn't mind playing. I'd give it a shot.
Yeah. And the good news is we're on the smaller court. It's not quite as big
Right.
as the tennis
Right,
court.
yeah.
But you know what? I think Wyandotte has a great parks, man. Like there's so many different parks, whether it's Pulaski, FOP, some of the other smaller parks around. So, hey, your kids this summer, if they have nothing to do, get them to the pickleball court, get them to the baseball diamond, get them to the soccer court.
Yeah, a lot of parks, and really no excuse. I mean, of course, video games are great. I loved video games as a kid. You got to get out of the heat, get in that air conditioning place. But summer's a great time to get out there and be active in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, no. Part of that will also take place this weekend. Getting active.
You talking about the fishing derby?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the Skip Clacks Fishing Derby at the Bishop Park Fishing Pier. That's this Saturday, June 3rd, 10 a.m. And it's free for children ages 5 to 13, as we learned from our special events coordinator. They have all sorts of different awards, not just for like biggest fish or most fish, but also like strangest object caught out of the river. So.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to is a kid named Michael McCooch. Miss Caroline said she had noticed him at graduation yesterday, and he had a cast on. And she had an opportunity to talk to the athletic director.
Yeah.
And he said that McCooch fell on the last lap.
Leading the pack.
Leading the pack.
Yeah.
And was coming out of the gate to finish the race and fell. And it looks like he has a stress fracture. So we know you're the one first place. And I'm sure that he's going somewhere to go to school, whether it's academics or if it's a scholarship for track or cross country. But best of luck to you, McCooch. Get well, man.
You ever have any untimely spills in sports?
No. Thank God.
None?
No. I've been hit, Troy O'Brien pulling guard, and he just, first 300-pounder I ever just collided with when I was in 10th and he was in 12th. And coach says, good play, because you did your job, because you got in the backfield, but then you're waiting on this big mammoth of a guy to just flatten you, and he did. I felt like I hit with a freight train, but that was probably the furthest I've been hit. But I made the play, but not like running around third and fall or running for a touchdown.
I was in a softball league about a decade ago. Had a little poke to short. Never even saw if it scooted through in the left field. I took off faster than my legs could go, and I stumbled and then planted firmly, hit the ground. All the winds pushed out of me. Somehow they still haven't thrown me out. I stumble back to my feet. I can't believe I haven't been thrown out at this point. I get to first base. The ball must have got through. I felt like such a fool. But I got there though. Couldn't breathe.
Yeah. No, I definitely think I've seen it on several occasions. But that'll take everything out of you. Take out all the wind out of you. Yeah, all the wind out of the sails. You guys, yesterday, was it on Town?
Town, yeah, Tuesday.
Did you guys had the rowing guy on?
Yes, Fred from the boat club. So yeah, once again, they've got the Wyandotte Boat Club Youth Rowing Camp This is open to all students entering 6th through 9th grade. Session 1's June 19th through June 30th. Session 2, July 10th through July 21st. Session 3, July 31st through August 11th. That's Mondays through Fridays, 9 to 11 a.m. You can go to wineupboatclub.com for more info there. You know, we had posed that question last episode. We'd wondered if they wear life jackets.
Right.
They do not. Not only do they not, Fred informed us that those type of boats they use are actually exempt from Coast Guard rules. They don't even have to have flotation devices on the boat. Now, the caveat to that is there's actually two. They have spotter boats that go alongside in case a rower ever gets in the drink and is in trouble. But also, I guess those new fiberglass boats, they've got air pockets on either end. They will not sink. Wow. They can literally fill with water, and you could be sitting water level. They won't sink.
Wow.
So
Technology.
yeah, pretty amazing. You know how much those things go for?
$25,000.
Keep going.
Get out.
Almost double. 40, 50 grand for the new fiberglass ones, yeah.
That makes sense.
That's a lot of dough.
It makes sense because when we first started doing this show, I promise I had that number etched in my head because I could not believe that those boats cost that much money.
Yeah.
But when he was saying it was the new coach that came to Wyandotte, he was talking about it, and he was saying, hey, man, these boats cost a bunch of money, and we got 7.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people that have this many, but, yeah, upward to 50,000, that's nuts.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
No, that's good. The one thing that we would like to find out, if anybody has information on, is the tennis. I couldn't find it on the MHSA website. Miss Caroline didn't get anything from it. But we know that a couple weeks ago they did districts. Mm-hmm. So by now they should have the champions of that. So that's one thing on our to-do list to do. Man, when me and you are here, it just seems like time flies.
It does, just flies
It
by.
flies. I see Neil giving me fingers and everything. So I don't
Multiple things.
yeah. So I just want to make sure that we get out of here on time here on June 1st. Because I didn't say that at the beginning of the
June
show.
1st now.
Yeah, it's June 1st already. But no, it's been great reliving great things you guys did for yesterday with the graduation and upcoming baseball and softball districts, as well as the FOP dedication to Justin. Just looking forward to a good week. And we appreciate it. Get out on Saturday, June 3rd, and watch something. Watch something local. Watch some local sports. All right? Have a great weekend.